You ever see those bad singers that think they're good? Like, for example, on the, those shows when they have the first audition, like Idol and that kind of stuff, and the singer's really bad, but they think they're good. Now, I actually used to be one of these singers. Go check out my before and afters if you haven't seen it. But you see how bad I was. And sometimes I was good. I wasn't like horrible, horrible all the time. I had moments where I would like get in the zone and be okay. And then but even when I was okay, I was still a beginner. I was beginnerish. So these people are like that because everyone has a natural level of skill, but it hits a wall at a certain point. So you got people like Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men who their natural level of skill is like wow, because by the time they're 16, 15, 16, they're already very, very high level in what they can do. It's a very young age to be really high level. And usually they're not trained, like they don't have a coach every day that coaches them in that way. And even if they have a coach, usually they're really good already. Okay? And then the coach helps them with what they're good at. And usually the coach will be like, wow, you're just like, wow, how you're progressing. So why are they like that? Because here's one thing. The main thing is they don't know any better. They think they are good because they know the lyrics of a song and generally the timing. And they have some idea of how it goes. What I mean by how it goes is the pitch as well. Now, knowing the lyrics of a song is a great first step. Okay? Generally knowing the timing and how it goes and the pitch is also a good step. But they don't know the details. They don't understand pitch to the level where they can sing a song without any backing music, which is usually what they get them to do on the first audition in these shows. They don't give them any music, and they can't like pull out their phone or pull out their MP3 player or tape deck or whatever it was back then, and listen to the song right before they go on just to get it fresh in their mind. They have to completely sing from their own inner ear, their own brain, their own talent, whatever it is, and they can't usually, but they think that they're so good. So what's missing? They got lyrics, but they don't know pitch. They don't understand pitch and how pitches work to keep you in key. They don't really get that. Some people don't have timing, like their timing is really basic as well. And those are the people that tend to sound the worst when they don't have pitch or timing, but they got lyrics. And some people forget lyrics too, and that's too many things now. They've forgotten everything, or they can't do anything. So they need the most work. But this is why they think like that, because this is why they think they're good, because they know the lyrics, and to them, their natural ability tells them, I understand words, I'm advanced. All right, I'm not laughing to tease, because I can laugh because I used to be this guy. All right, I'm still this guy when it comes to certain things that I'm learning. Some things are really hard, and I'll be like, oh man, I've gone beginner again. Okay, like a really hard run, or sometimes songs go chromatic, like they change key a bit, and I'll get lost still now. And so like, okay, I got to train, like I got to train those songs in the changes in those songs more, and then I train them, and then I'm like, I'm not a beginner anymore. I become intermediate or advanced at that element that I train. Now, why? What is it about them that makes them think that way? It's just a gene thing. They just don't have the ability to tell that they're wrong with pitch. So they need to be told. Now, how do you tell them they're wrong when they think they know everything? This is fucking hard because I used to be like this, and a lot of people told me, oh, you sound nice, but... And I wouldn't listen. They would tell me all the buts, but they weren't usually musicians, but they knew I was off. So they would say, something's wrong, you gotta fix it here, you get a bit lost. And I go, I'm doing it my way. I'm doing it my way. Like this is asking, what's wrong? I get defensive, right? And I start arguing and fighting because I didn't know any better. I didn't know I was wrong. This was like when I was about 16, 17, 18 years old. And then something happened to me where I was singing with a friend and he didn't want to sing with me anymore. And he told me he was busy. He had to focus on his studies for 6 months or something. And I thought, oh, he just doesn't like me anymore. And I got cut. So then I started looking for other people to jam with on Gumtree or whatever it was. And then I found a girl to jam with, and she was really good. She was a pianist and an amazing singer. And she jammed with me, and she said, let's sing the harmony. And I go, what's that? And she goes, you know, it's like I sing, and you sing, like the higher note. And I go, what do you mean? And she showed me on the piano the notes that she meant and how they were separated so I could visually see it. I go, okay. And then she sang it. She sang both, and then she made me sing one, and like she taught me how to do a harmony with her for about 5 minutes. And then we did it, and I was like, wow. And I go, what's all that stuff? She goes, it's the harmony, these notes fit in this scale. I go, okay. And she goes, look up scales. And then that got me to look up piano. And then I learnt about music theory. And that got me slowly to start playing instruments. And then the instruments taught me how to understand how music is broken down. Okay? So then I used theory to learn what notes are, like in a song. So when you sing a song, it's this note followed by this note. And then all you got to do is get those notes right. So then I slowly started to understand. That made me, for the first time, understand that singing was just notes that you have to get correctly. And you can measure those notes somewhere. You can use a keyboard to help you, or you can just do it by ear and by following the singer. But you got to break it down. But what happened, back to the point, was that so this guy hurt my feelings because he apparently had to go do work. And that's what he said to me, but I didn't believe him. So when my feelings got hurt, I started to think, was I the problem? Did I do something wrong? And me and him did recordings together. Like we jammed at his house, and he had a little studio, and we recorded each other. And I used to listen back to the recordings, and in the recordings we left the parts where we were chatting. And when we were chatting, I could hear myself being a bit bossy, saying, oh, like, do this, do that, why don't we do that? And as I would listen to him, listen to the recordings, I go, fuck, he sounds so good. And I can hear myself making mistakes in the recordings, and he's all patient and stuff. And not only am I making mistakes, but I'm kind of directing him, telling him how to do things sometimes. And I could hear myself doing this, and I go, that's why he didn't want to sing with me anymore, because I was a fucking idiot. And it turns out I saw him again a few months later, and he's like, let's jam. I was like, I thought you didn't want to jam with me anymore, man. And he goes, I told you I was busy. I had to work. I had to finish my study stuff. I go, shit, man. I go, sorry. Like, I thought that you didn't like me because I listened back to our recordings and I sound like an idiot. And he's like, nah, man, I love jamming. He goes, I don't care about like levels and stuff. It's all good. Like, we're jamming, and you got a nice voice. We're jamming anyway. It's all fine. So how funny. My insecurity that I had wasn't even right. And it made me completely change my perspective. So that made me become open. That made me think, maybe I should listen to people. So when this girl told me, you got to sing like this, like you got to sing this note, let's do this harmony, let's do whatever, I was open to listen. Whereas before, I wouldn't have even listened to her when she would have said that to me. I would have just been like, what are you talking about? Telling me how to sing. Like, let's just jam. What's this? Is this a lesson? You know? So how do you get a bad singer to listen to you? How do you tell them they're wrong? This is a hard one. I mean, for me, that was like some weird emotional thing that had to happen. So maybe you could create a lie. One of my favorite philosophers from the Venus Project, Jacques Fresco, he said his mum was racist against his Asian friend. And he made up a lie and told his mum that, because she wouldn't let him bring his friend over because he was Asian. And then he said to his mum, oh, he saved my life. I was drowning and he helped me out of the pool. And she goes, oh, bring him over, bring him over. And then he kept bringing him over. his Asian friend, and his mum began to like the Asian friend because he was just, you know, a nice guy. It wasn't like he was Asian, so he was like fucked up. He was just a normal Asian dude that was Jacques' friend. And then she began to call him son because she started to love him because, you know, he was her son's best friend, etc. And he was a nice guy. And then Jacques told her, I lied to you, you didn't save me. But that was the only way I could get you to even think about letting me bring him over. So he made up a lie, but it was a lie. And we get taught lying is bad, but it was a lie that actually helped someone with the truth, which is this guy's a nice guy, don't be racist against him, and he's my best friend. Right? So it helped someone understand the truth. So maybe that makes me think, you know, if you can think up a situation to trick someone when someone doesn't listen to logic, because being racist is an emotion, it's not about logic, right? Because we're all equal as humans. We're all equal in the sense that, you know, we're not bad because we're a nationality. There's bad people in every nationality, and why people are bad or evil or violent or whatever, that's a whole other story. It's a whole other study. But we have bad people in every nationality. And trust me, I did a job where I typed police interviews. I was as a typist, and the people that commit crimes are all nationalities, man. They all commit the same kind of crimes. All nationalities. Trust me, I'm in Australia, so it's very multicultural here. All nationalities, man. Yeah, anyway, it's a different topic. But how do you get a bad singer to understand they're bad? Well, I'll leave that one up to you. Be creative. If you can think of something, let me know. Comment down. If you love this kind of philosophy stuff, let me know. Obviously, you can see my channel is very philosophical as well as practical. Alright guys, I'm Rashad. I'll see you next time. Bye.